Every year, many people get the earth-shattering news that they will never walk again. For some people, this is where they give up, turn around, and quit, but not for patients like Laura Dominguez. Laura is a diagnosed quadriplegic, and with just 2 stem cell treatments, she is now able to stand on her own without any assistance. All of that thanks to stem cells. Laura is on the road to do the impossible, walk again. To understand how stem cells can help cure many diseases and conditions, such as Laura's paralysis, we must first understand where stem cells come from and what they do. Then, we will discuss the advantages and disadvantages to this treatment, and finally, we will discuss the controversy associated with stem cells. So our first question is what exactly are stem cells? According to the National Institutes of Health, a stem cell can be defined by having the remarkable potential to develop into many different types of cells early in its life. Some of these qualities include the ability to divide endlessly. Stem cells can divide endlessly until they're no longer needed to divide. For example, stem cells can divide to be red blood cells or bone cells or even muscle cells. Sometimes, under certain conditions, stem cells can divide to repair damaged tissues and can even become new organ tissues. There are 2 different types of stem cells. The first type of stem cells are embryonic stem cells. These cells are taken from 5-day-old embryos and can stay undifferentiated for a long period of time and can become any cell in the body. Adult or somatic cells are rarely found in the body and can only become a cell from which it came. For example, if an adult stem cell came from the stomach, it can only differentiate to become another stomach cell, not a heart muscle cell or a bone cell. So the next question we ask is what exactly can these stem cells do? By studying what makes stem cells differentiate into other cells, scientists can better understand the origins of certain diseases. Stem cells can also help scientists test new drugs. For example, if stem cells from a type of cancer are taken, anti-tumor drugs can be tested on these stem cells to see if that drug helps. The most important use of these stem cells is implantation. With the use of stem cells, organ transplants won't be needed. Once these stem cells are implanted in the body, they can repair damaged tissue, which means that the organ can be healed and a transplant is no longer needed. There are many advantages as well as disadvantages to stem cell use. Some of these advantages include advancing medical technology, better understanding human growth and development, a better understanding to the aging process of the body, and they can cure conditions and diseases before they happen. There are also some disadvantages associated with stem cells. The first one is that scientists are still unsure about stem cells. There needs to be more research done before they're more widely used. The second reason is scientists don't know what the long-term effects are of stem cells because they are not as widely used today. Many of these advances in cell alteration can be seen as unethical to many people. One of the biggest reasons why stem cells are not widely used is the controversy behind embryonic stem cells. In the process of obtaining an embryonic stem cell, the embryo is compromised. Many people see this as the abortion of a human life, but science may argue against it. Science argues that an embryo is not yet a fetus, so it cannot yet be considered an abortion. Another argument that science brings up is that the cells for those embryonic stem cells come from a lab where the fertilization of the embryo occurs, and if the cells were not obtained, then the embryo would have been wasted. At this point, research for embryonic stem cells is still too controversial, and there are many government regulations and limitations on its work. So for right now, there is not a lot of new knowledge being brought to the table. So in conclusion, by explaining what a stem cell is, discussing its advantages and disadvantages, and the controversy behind its research, we can see that stem cells can be very beneficial to many people. While there is controversy behind it, stem cells have the potential to become any cell in the body, repair damaged tissue, as well as slow down the aging process of our body to create an overall healthier human race. As science progresses, stem cells will become more and more widely used. Research has shown that in 2014, several blind patients have improved vision, all thanks to stem cells. Much like Laura, the quadriplegic, these people get a second chance at a life they never could have imagined without stem cells.